Okay, these are the chapter 9 exercises that we're going to go through. Chapter 9 I made really short. We're just doing the exercises and a short part of one or two problems, but not a whole huge problem. So let's look at exercise 9.1 and read it from there. I also left in for you guys in Excel. A lot of the writing's already done, so you just have to fill in the amounts, which is nice. Okay, so let's go from here. I'll read the first problem. October 1, we have to put these transactions during the first week of October, indicate how these transactions are entered in the cash receipt journal. No, October 1 had cash sales of $6,600 plus sales tax of $528. There was a cash overage of $12. Okay, let's go back to our spreadsheet. So cash sales, the total sale was $6,600. So that goes in the sales, $6,600. It's an easy way to do this. Okay. We know that the sales tax was, what was the amount of tax? Let me go back and look at that problem. $528. So sales tax is $528. And we have also cash short and over of $12. That's going to be the account name here. Cash short and over. Yeah, that should have probably been like, doesn't make it easy to type in there, does it? We'll just say cash short and over here. It still goes into the next cell. Oh, when they make these cells, they really make them messed up. No margin center. Nope. Good enough. That amount was $12. So let's look. We're going to have to add all this up because it's a credit. This is a credit. This is a credit under other accounts credit. We have to add up 3 credits to figure out what our debit's going to be. And if you add all those up, it should be $7,140. And I did do this whole, I see why it's all messed up. Duh, I did it all in the wrong line. I wonder if I can cut and paste. That's okay. Good enough. Okay, the next person. Collected $890 on account from Jerry Lynn, a credit customer. So that's cash receipt journal again. This is all about collecting the cash or paying, using the cash receipt journal. The next one will be used using the cash payment journal. Okay, so we collected $890. So then we're going to get them out of accounts receivable. So we're going to credit that. He paid his bill. And that's it. We're just going to go all the way over here to the cash. $890. All right, so Jerry doesn't owe us anymore. Next one. Had cash sales of $5,500 plus a sales tax of $440. Cash sales. We're going to go under the sales credit. 5500. And the sales tax was $440. 4. We didn't have any cash short or over. So we have to go ahead and add those up. So our credits equal our debits, and that'll be 594 under the cashier. Investment by owner. Obviously, the owner put an investment in there. Let's see. Eddie Reynolds, the owner, made an additional cash investment of $24,000. Okay, so you'll see that his capital is going to go up, and his capital is the credit account. So it's going to have to go under other accounts credit, and then the cash debit. So that goes under the capital account. Eddie Reynolds. Right? And so we just go ahead and put them on both sides. His investment was $24,000. 24, 0, 0, 0, and 24. Okay. And the last one had cash sales of $7,400 plus sales tax of $592. There was a cash shortage of $20. Okay, so we know again that's going to be cash sales of $7,400 under the sales. And we knew the tax was $592. And we know that this is, let's see if I can mark these down. This is cash shortened over. Which never seems to fit here for some reason. And the cash shortened over amount is $20, except, okay, the $12 was over. This one is short. So if it's negative in the money, you want to put the quotes around it so you know it's in the negative. Like that. And let me zoom this in just a little bit better. Okay, so now we've got to add our credits and our debits together. But notice, okay, so it's going to be 7,400 plus 592. So let me just check. So that, let's see what we're going to do with that cash shortened over, because we know that it's short. So let's go. So 7,400 plus 592. Yep, and you got to do exactly what I thought. You've got to minus their $20 from there. That way you get $79.72. So you probably wouldn't have known to minus the $20 had you not put it in the quotes. So make sure you do that. Or parentheses, excuse me. First problem's done. Look at 9.2. 9.2 is the same thing, but this one's cash payments. So we're going to go ahead and do cash payments. And in this case, we're not going to be using the cash shortened over account because there isn't going to be any cash shortened overs for our payments. We know what we pay is the right amount to our suppliers. I'm going to do the first couple, have you move on to the rest, so because it's the same concept. Issued a check $38.50 for $3,600 to pay the monthly rent. So let's go back to the problem. We've got the rent right there. We've got the check number, so you didn't have to do all that. Don't have to worry about the post reference because we're not posting to the ledger right now. But what are going to put in here under October rent is just rent expense. Notice up here it says other accounts debit. We know all expenses are debits. We have accounts payable debit, purchase discounts credit, cash credit. Up here we had other accounts credit, accounts receivable credit, tax, sales and taxes credit. So you see it's the cash payments journal is just the opposite. These are debit balances with the cash credit, and these are credit balances with the cash debit. Cash debit, so this is when cash is coming in, and this is when cash is leaving us. Okay, so the rent was $3,600. You just put in 3,600, and then over here we have to have our debits equal our credits. Next one, issued a check for $3,200 to the Fisher Company, a creditor on account. So then we bought something from them. Don't know what, it doesn't matter. It's on account, which means we charged it to accounts payable. So that'll be 3,200. This column is always supposed to be the cents. If it was 3,250 cents, doesn't matter what it was. Cash, that was our accounts payable debit and our cash credit, 3,200. Okay, so that's what we owed. We wrote a check, so the cash is leaving us. That's why we got a cash credit. Issued a check 3852 for $13,100 to purchase new equipment. So we have bought equipment. That means we're going to go ahead, and this is going to be affecting the equipment account, which is an asset. That's why we've got this other account debit, 13,100. And we issued a check for 13,100. Okay, the next one was we paid a sales tax. Issued a check to remit sales tax to the state, $1,520. So we paid our sales tax. So this is going to affect the account called sales tax payable. It sits in the payable account because you owe it until you pay it. Once you pay it, it goes, and it's normally all payables are always credits. Once you pay it, it goes into the debit side to zero it out. So it's 1,520. And then we wrote a check, 1,520. Well, there's only 3 more to go. Might as well finish it. Issued a check for $1,900 to the Sports Emporium, a creditor on account, for invoice of $2,000 less the cash discount of $40. Okay, so that's a good example. So we issued a check to them for $2,000. Wait, we owed them $2,000. Okay, and they gave us a discount of $40. So this is where we go to the purchase discount area. I'm going to put $40 in there. And you know your debits have to equal your credits. So here we've got a cash credit and a purchase discount credit. It's going to equal the sales tax payable debit. So to make that equal, that's going to be $19.60. And the next one, issued a check $3,925 to purchase merchandise. Okay, so this is a cash purchase. This is going to affect the purchase account. Purchases. $3,295. I like to think, okay, you're probably thinking, why is purchases a debit? Purchases, think of it as inventory. All inventory is an expense. All expenses are debits. Or you could think of it as inventory is an asset. But anything that you have here that you own now, this purchase is now an asset, which is a debit. Okay. And we bought that with cash. That's 3,295. And the last one, this owner withdrew money, $4,906. Personal reasons. Okay, so the drawing account is always a debit. So that would be Eddie Reynolds drawing. And how much did he take out? 4,000. Oh, 4,906. So you see, this chapter is not about difficulty. It's about entering things correctly into the cash payments journal and the cash receipts journal. So far, there's going to be a little bit more difficult exercises coming up. Okay, 9.3. This one is about using that petty cash fund and setting it up, and so you have a little money in there to run to the store and buy things really quickly. So here we issued a check for $500 to establish a petty cash fund. Indicate how this transaction would be recorded in the cash payments journal. Okay, so let's move on to 9.3. Okay. I'm going to check through. Okay, so we kind of need to know what's going on. So you just need to put in the description that you're establish petty cash fund. The account is going to be petty cash. It's an asset account. So it's a debit, and you're going to use $500. You're going to put $500 in it. And of course, you wrote a check for that, so the cash goes down by $500. Hey, and that's it. Nothing that's too hard. We are ready for 9.4. 9.4, we issued a check for $300 to establish the petty cash fund. Then on January 31, check 3159 was issued to replenish the cash fund. It showed several payments that were coming out of supply, $68, delivery expense $109, miscellaneous expense $14. Okay, so this is normally what you would do with the petty cash fund, is you would write down each individual expense. So we're going to do that, but I left in the first date when you established it, and I left in the last date. This is where we're going to write the accounts that were affected. So the first one, we established the petty cash fund. This is the petty cash account. And we established it with $300. Debits equal credits. Okay, to replenish it, this is where we fill in the things that we bought. That was, we bought supplies. We also bought we paid for a delivery expense. And what else was affected was miscellaneous expense. You'll fill in the amounts. The supplies, I believe, were $68. Your delivery expense was $109. And your miscellaneous is $14. Okay, so now that we've entered all these debits, this one plus this one plus this one, we've got it now entered on the credit side. Your debits and credits have to equal, and if you were to total all these up, the total amount to the that we wrote a check for in cash is $191. And that's it. Now, a lot less complicated than some of our other chapters. So you can take a look at that. Pause it. Go back to it later. Let's look at 9. This is the bank reconciliation one. I think the rest of them are bank reconciliations. And I'll have you do that one by yourself and that bank reconciliation probably by yourself. And then probably do 9 and 10 with you. And that's all we have. We're not going to have a whole lot more. So I'll keep talking and keep going on. 9.3. Okay, let's go to 9.5. Let's do our first. Remember before I said you have to do the bank reconciliation before you can do the book reconciliation. We're going to do the bank side first. So the bank statement amount comes up first. And then we do the book side down here. So we do the bank side and then the book side. And then whenever we have a charge, like here we've got a bank service charge, that's got to go down into the general journal that you have this fee incurred that you normally don't have incurred. Has to be put down in there. Well, let's just work on this one first. Okay, so let's look at the problem. Here's what they give us. They say that the bank statement shows a balance of $15,700. So that's going to be what you're going to put on the top on the first line. And then on the book balance, you're going to put the $15,262. So let's go ahead and do that. Back here. Okay, so the bank statement says that we have $15,700. But our book balance says we have $15,262. Now we got to get these to match. That's the whole goal, is to making sure you count your outstanding checks and everything else that's going on in the world. Okay, so in this, do we have any deposits coming in transit? Let's check at this problem. It says there is a deposit in transit of $957. Go back here. So we have deposits in transit. That'd be $957. So we're going to add that up. That should be $16,657. Okay, now let's see if we've got any outstanding checks. If we have outstanding checks. Okay, so check number 71. So we actually have 3. So let's go find what they are. This says 3 outstanding checks. One for $124. The next one's for $55. And the next one is for $1,560. I'm going to go back here. My outstanding checks are going to be on the debit side. First one was for $124. Second one is for $55. And the last one was for $1,560. Okay, so what you do is you're going to add up your outstanding checks where it says total outstanding checks. This is where we're going to put the total so that we can do the subtraction. And that it would be 1739. Oops. 9. Then you're going to subtract 16,657, 1,378. Should be 14,918. Okay, so the bank says our real balance right now should be 14,918. But our book balance is still off, so now we got to figure out, we got to get these both. Notice though that there's a double underlined. When there's a double underline, that means that's your total. So you want the lines that have the double underline to be, this line has to be 14,918 as well. If that's double underlined, then that has to be the same amount. Okay, what are our deductions? Bank service charge of $12 and a return check from Richard Wolf for $332. Okay. So we have a bank service charge of $12. And a non-sufficient fund was $332. And if you add these two up, that's $344. And now you're going to go ahead and do the subtraction. Okay, so you got the amount in the books, and you got things that were returned and the charges, so it cost us more, so we have less money. And if you do the subtraction, then you do come to 14,918. And then the problem's done. Your bank balance matches your book balance, and that's what you want. But it's not entirely done, because your general journal is going to be off and your totals are going to be off, because you got to come to the general journal and you have to say, okay, now we got to put in the bank service fee and this dude's check because he bounced it. So we could record that. Sometimes they do bank fee expense. In this case, they wanted you to do miscellaneous expense for $12 and cash for $12, obviously, because you have $12 less cash. This has to go back into accounts receivable because he didn't really pay it because the check bounced. So you take Richard Wolf and put him back in accounts receivable for $332, and then you credit the cash that you did not receive from him into the credit account. So making the general journal entries is always going to be something that you have to do when you do these bank statements. Okay, so there's one you can do by yourself, 9-7, give that a try, and then make the general journal entries. 9-8 is the same, another practice one, and then make the general journal entries. 9-10, let's just go to 9-10 and let's get that one over with, and we'll do the problems and we'll be done. 9-10. Identify the normal balance of the following accounts using debit or credit. Okay. And I am going to go back to those bank statement problems just to give you the totals and what they should be, so you can figure it out and make sure you got it right. Okay, inventory is an asset, so the assets are debits, so that's a debit. I didn't give you guys much space to write here. I'm just going to put D for debit. Second one. Sales tax payable, anything payable, accounts payable, anything payable is a credit because it's a liability. Next one, sales. Sales is revenue. Revenue, all revenue is a credit. Number 6. Oh, number 4. Sales discounts. It's going to be a contra account. So if sales is a credit, then the discount on the account is a debit. Okay. Sales return and allowances is always a debit. Cost of goods sold is considered an expense. It's the expense of it's like an inventory expense because it's the total of your purchases plus the freight is your cost of goods sold. So that all expenses are debits, so that's a debit. And finally, the last one, credit card expense. Again, all expenses are debits. So I'm going to go back here and put debit. Okay, so then starts the problems. But before we jump to the problems, let's go back and let me at least give you the balances. So when you do 9.6 and 9.7 and 9.5 and all the 9, 6, and 7, you'll know what they're supposed to be. And then you guys can go back and fill in the amounts. Let me look up what those amounts are supposed to be. 9, 5. 9.7, the balance should be 72,602. So that should be 72,602, which means that this double underline down here is 72,602. You could figure out the rest by adding the checks and so forth. Next one, 9.8. 9.8. That adjustment balance should be okay. Oh, they're just having you do one side, just the bank statement balance. So there's only one double underline. So the solution to that is going to be 12,180. So they just did the bank side. They didn't do the book side. The previous problems, you want the book to match the bank. Let's look at 9.9. 9.9, I believe, is just the journal entries you would make. There are 4 of them. I'm curious to see if you guys can figure those out. Only 2 counts are affected for each. So it's not like you're going to have 3 or 4 things listed down. It will just be 2. 1 debit, 1 credit, 1 debit, 1 credit, 1 debit, 1 credit, 1 debit, 1 credit. Nothing too fancy. Let's look at 9.5a. Okay. 9.5. Okay, let me give you the amounts here. 14,918. No, we just did that. That's exercise 9.5. Okay. I have to actually look that one up. I don't have that one on me, so I'm going to go ahead and look that one up right now. And this one is going to be solutions 9. Okay. And I'm making you do 9.5. And by the way, I'm just following the schedule. That's why you didn't do problem. This is problem 9.1a, which you would normally do. It kind of left out the receipt journal stuff because, like I said, computer's going to do it all for you. So I focused more on how do you do petty cash and how do you do the bank balance stuff. If you feel like you want to do all this work, I'm happy to send it on to you. But the way that I set up your workbook is I only put in the problems that I wanted you to do. Let's see, I made you do 9.5. I'm still a 9.4. 9.5a. There we go. Let's go ahead and screenshot your 9.5a. You can see your totals. This is what I want you to get to and make sure that they balance. And what else did I have to do besides 9.5a? There was another one. Wasn't 9.6a, I don't believe. No, maybe it was. Let me see what else I had to do. It should be under accounting. Yeah, you can see I wasn't really organized today, was I? Just a busy day. Accounting. And the accounting schedule. Accounting schedule. So looking quickly at this, I'm having you do 9.5a to 9.7a. I'm going to leave out the quiz. I should totally update the syllabus and re-upload it. Okay, so 9.5a to 9.7a. This is 9.4a, 9.5a, and then the journal entries to go with it. Then this is 9.6a, which is again, you're going to want these amounts to balance. It'll be 14,850 on both sides. Then you're going to have to go ahead and put these things that happened on the business side into the journal, which will be up here. So in this case, you do have more than one debit and one credit. You'll have a notes receivable, but then you'll have the interest income as well, because you'll have to make that debit on the cash and the credit match. And then on the final problem, 9.7 is I only made you go to 9.7. They're going to, again, make you do a book balance. And when you do a book balance and not a bank balance, that's when you do the general journal entries. So let's go back for 1 second. This bank reconciliation and the balance of the books, they didn't make you do a book balance. Oh yeah, they did. There's a general journal. Okay. And when we do the book balances, when we go into our general journal and put those little errors that we've got to correct for banking. So this one was adjusted. So somebody wrote the check for the wrong amount. So you have to do the adjustment of the amount of money between the two. And they did it to the utility expense account, obviously. And here's an error too, to correct an error. So all it takes is even just writing a check the wrong way or the wrong amount to go ahead and make a general journal entry. And you can see why, because net income would be overstated. Okay, I've bored you for 40 minutes. I think that's long enough. I'll have you go through, and I did not give you the problem that was 8 pages long. This is a lot shorter of a chapter. There are other chapters that are more important, I think, than worrying about some cash journal right now anyway. And I also need you to work on your project, which I'm going to send out some more information on shortly. So that's it. Call me if you need any help. Bye.